Well, today, since we haven't got any questions on our YouTube yet, since we're just starting that, let's go ahead and talk about the #1 questions that's asked of us as writers that write together, and that's, how do you guys write together? You know,
that's the #1 question that we get asked. Every book club meeting that we've ever been to, we have gotten asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that they always believe our answer. You know, today we're sitting here with our laptops in front of us, you know, and we have both been writing because this is one of those rare times that we've been able to be together and to write. And but most of the time, you're writing somewhere like Hawaii or across the world, and I'm writing here, and then we're talking about it on the phone, and I'm emailing you, and you're emailing me, and we're putting it together.
That's exactly right. Mom had a good analogy. She says it's a little bit like baking a cake. Sometimes I'm doing the batter and she's doing the icing, or vice versa. Now, we've only come to blows, what, once or twice?
It will admit, of course.
The only time that we really ever had an issue was over a door. Remember that in Stone Creek?
Right. That's right. And I think I won that one. I'm not sure.
We didn't know if it was the back door or the side door.
But it was a building that I had worked in like 30 years ago, so I'm still not sure if it was the back door or the front door either. But anyway, well, we finally settled on one.
I let her trump that one since it was a building that she had worked in. But I think that's kind of what makes our relationship unique, because what we do is one of us will get an idea and then it'll spark something in the other one, and so we'll go back and forth. And I remember when Livin' in High Cotton first came out, a friend of mine said, well, I can't wait to see which part you wrote and which part your mom wrote. And I said, well, good luck, because by the time we get finished with it, we don't even know half the time which one wrote which part.
And I always say, if I was writing, it would probably be about 100 pages. The whole thing, and if Jennifer was writing, it'd probably be about 300 pages. Because she says, expand, Mom, expand, expand. And I'll say, Jennifer, you're going to have to cut some of that out. So
she says, you don't have to tell them every little pitty detail. So between the two, we end up doing pretty well. I think it's so wonderful because we both get so excited about what we're writing. And of course, other people aren't as excited as we are. I'm still not sure why, but it's wonderful to be writing something and be able to call, and I'll tell Mom, you won't believe what so and so did, or she'll tell me, well, boy, such and such really got what he deserved. You notice I keep saying he.
Yeah. I remember one day we were writing Stony Creek, and our main character, her name is Sydney, and Jennifer was she was riding down the road, and she said, that's a Jeep like Sydney has, because that was what we had written in the script.
Exactly. And Patrick just got the funniest look on his face. But I think that's what's so unique about it is that we can each add something. And we also save, hopefully, on the editing, because one of us will catch mistakes before whereas if one person is just writing, you only see it your way. And so
that's true.
I think it adds a richness. But what we'll normally do is we'll get an idea, and then one of us will start, and usually one of us gets more passionate about one section or another. And
that's true. And I'll say, I'll write this part, and you say, well, I'll write this part, and then we start putting it together, and we'll say, well, if this happens, well, if they do this, we could take it to the next level, and they could do this, and then it goes on, and that's kind of the way we develop our characters and our story.
Now, one way that we're a little different is that Mom is amazing. I'm still not sure how she does this, and I'm a little bit jealous, because she can write any segment, any part. She'll say, oh, well, I'll just write this, and she's completely uninhibited. Whereas I have to start at the beginning and go to the end until I get to know the characters. And so we're a little bit different in that regard.
I think it's because I see, even when I read a book, I kind of see it in scenes like I'm watching a movie. And so if I get the plot in my mind and kind of get a little bit about what the characters are like, then I can kind of see a scene, and I'll just go ahead and write it. And of course, it gets tweaked many times when it start putting it in sequence with the rest of the book. But it's fun. We have a good time. I think that's the main thing.
And we get to learn about a lot of different things, like bootlegging, snake handling, cockfighting,
diamond theft,
embezzlement.
We have to do a lot of research. Of course, all that doesn't just come naturally from experience, but of course we do a lot of things from experience too. I think my favorite books so far that we've done probably is Living in High Cotton, and it was our first because it was loosely based on my grandmother's life and Jennifer's great-grandmother, and I knew her so well, and so of course I didn't have any problem writing any scene or any part about it because I knew those people so well because I grew up with them and I lived with them.
And the only thing that was really helpful for me as an outsider is that Mom just assumed that everybody knew everything about it. Remember the Traveling Peddler?
Oh yes, yeah.
And you said, well, everybody knows about that. Everybody had a Traveling Peddler. And I said, oh no, they didn't. And so it was neat for me as an outsider to be able to recognize a lot of the value of the things.
That's true.
That for you, it was just everyday life.
It was so commonplace.
It was.
And it happened, and I just assumed that everybody that grew up in the South did the same things.
That's right.
We're exposed to the same things, so that was kind of interesting and fun.
Well, my favorite one that we've done so far is our third one, which has not come out yet, and it's The Secret Song of the Ditch Lilies, and I can really relate to a lot of parts of that. And we set it in a fictitious town, but it's very similar to the town where I grew up, and so it's funny how different characters will touch us. Each one of us, and I think you and I both are probably partial to different characters.
Oh, I think so too.
I'm pretty partial to Delia, who is in our third one, and of course you were to Shelby and Living in High Cotton.
That's right.
And
to Stella.
And to Stella.
Yeah,
in Stony Creek.
His grandmother in Stony Creek. So that's true. And Hazel in Stony Creek. I really liked Hazel, and I think that's one reason that our characters are so interesting is because when one of us zeroes in on one of them, we really like to develop that character. We put our heart and soul into it.
Well, and I think people always ask us. They say, "Well, which book do people like the best?" Mm-hmm. And of the two so far, it's a toss-up. It really is.
It seems like that it's every time it's the last one they read. If they had read Stony Creek last, they liked Stony Creek. If they read Living in High Cotton last, they loved that. So. I think it's the one that's most memorable to them, and usually it's the last one they read.
I think so too. Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
If you have a question for Jen and I,
look on our YouTube channel. We'll have an email set up so that you can email all of your questions. And Mom and I will do our best to answer them.
Thanks.